All right, welcome back. We have a knife here today, and this is probably one of the Black Friday pinnacles for me, just given that it's one of my favorite knife brands. This is just in from Tactile Knife Company, so I'm going to use a Rockwall to open it. And just going to get this out of the way here, make sure we don't expose any private info. But they are running a couple deals that I could not pass up. So let's start here. Let's start here. And this is one that I don't have many of, but I do have one of, but not like this. It's the Bexar. It's spelled B-E-X-A-R. It's a Magna Cut, and this is an Ultem. And that is quite impressive. It is so light. It's crazy. I'm really curious what the balance is like, given it's actually pretty good. Still not like too blade heavy. Wow, I'm impressed. That is a cool little slip joint. Take a look at that. So if you're not familiar with the Bexar, it's about a 3-inch clip point. I do have one over here in the titanium. And it notably is very thin. See just how thin there. Compare it to the Rockwall here. It's probably half as wide. So it's pretty cool. You get like a really nice little knife. This is about a 200 MSRP in titanium, and it's 200 in Ultem also. Now where they differ greatly, that's kind of interesting. This one has pretty good lockup. This one came with a lot of play in it. So it's definitely, like, I don't know if that's just how they are or if I need to tighten that down, but I may have to take a look at that. It's pretty cool. You can see the whole action through there. Let's see if I can show that to you up close. That's pretty neat. So let's get these on the scale, because I think that's the most notable thing about this Ultem model, is just how light it is. It is pretty spectacular. We'll throw the titanium on there as a benchmark. So the titanium tips the scales at a hefty 1.82 ounces, exactly the same weight as a Benchmade bug out, maybe a tad lighter. And this is where this one gets a little crazy. And this is with the lanyard, 1.06 ounce. So I think if you take this lanyard off, that might just drop under 1 ounce, which is pretty crazy. Now I'm kind of surprised about the play in here. And I don't know if that's just how it is or if this needs to get locked down a little bit, but maybe I'll take a quick look at that after this video. We won't do that live on the video here. Now I also am noticing, let's get this out of here, that the blade has Magna Cut written in like a dark color, whereas here it's in, I think it's just laser etched in or something like that. There's a little bit of a difference there. Aside from that, and that fingerprint that I put on there, generally the same knife. So maybe towards the end of the video, I may try and play around with the blade play. Well, let's get to the next knife here. I don't personally have a ton to say about a slip joint. Cool little knife, gets the job done. Not a locking blade, obviously, so not for everyone. But we'll see how that, if that tightens up or if that's just how they are because of the material. That's just crazy to have a blade that long, magna cut, and weigh an ounce. That's pretty wild. All right, so at the beginning of this video, you saw this guy, and this is one that a model I've gotten into collecting. It's the magna cut tactile turn thumb stud with titanium, and I've been holding off on this, but the Black Friday sale, well, I shouldn't say holding off, they weren't available, but these released on Black Friday, and then they ran a sale on them, and that is so cool. I've been really getting kind of back into black on black knives for my collection, and that's a full DLC version of this knife, even on the pocket clip, which is really neat. Now, I still, as a daily driver, I'm going to go with a knife like this 9 times out of 10 personally, because I like the maintenance of a satin or a tumbled or a bead blast finish or whatever. Just think it's a little easier to keep it looking good longer term. But this one just kind of caught my eye, and that's pretty wild. Full DLC coat on the blade as well. I just thought that was a neat opportunity to get a really cool knife that I really like in what may be a very limited variation. We'll see how it all plays out with these guys. You never quite know. But let's see how the action is here. This one's a little sticky. I don't know if it's the DLC coat or what. There it goes. All right, seems good now. Yep, good to go. Just need to get worked in a little bit. That is pretty wild. It's almost like hard to focus on it because it's so black. So this kind of brings me to the collection of tactile turns, and if you've watched my channel, you know I over collect various models. Sometimes I keep them for a while, and sometimes I move them on from the collection, but I have quite a few of these. This was the first one that was the non-standard that I got. It's the golf ball finish, and I gotta go take a look and see if these are actually starting to run out, but they were called limited originally. They're not available on the Tactile website anymore, but they were in stock at some of the dealers for a while, so we'll see if they are truly limited or not. But it was called a limited model. Quite a bit of difference in terms of how they did the finish on this and surrounded everything, and a lot of people really preferred this style to this one. I personally prefer that one, just my preference. But that kind of got me searching, and then this was the next one along that evolution. This is the Knife Joy Dragon Scale, which I thought was kind of a cooler version of this for me. And that is just a really cool, you got like the real detailed surround there, and it's just a really nice feel in hand. Really like that one. But kind of a similar to the golf ball, but with the dragon scale instead. Oops. Which I then evolved to the frag pattern from Monkey Edge. I think these are now sold out, unfortunately. I think the dragon scale are still available, but I think these Monkey Edge sold out. Now they've, I think, done 2 runs of these. I'm not 100% sure. But I think this is just one of the coolest ones, and I like how this one, so these are actually kind of different in that this dragon scale has the border around it, and then this one kind of runs to the edge. So they do have actually pretty different feel in hand. Obviously the same knife at the end of the day, but those ones were a little similar, so I sort of was like, do I need both of them? And of course I don't need both of them, but I decided to get both of them. And then this is the last one, at least for now. I've played around with getting a few others, but this group here for me were the ones that resonated the most. If you saw the video unboxing this one, it kind of reminds me of my grandfather's old lighter here. And so, although it's very different, that's sort of the nostalgic factor here. Like literally the only thing I didn't like about this is that they got all this cool DLC code stuff everywhere. And then the pocket clip was not DLC code, which I thought would have kind of finished off the look, but not a big deal, and probably a more functional pocket clip, all things considered. So that is the group. Now, if you know the history of these knives, there are a couple variations of them, and I do have some of those variations as well. Let me pull one of those out. So the first one would be, they had a version in 20CV. All these are Magna Cut, by the way. Every one of these is CPM Magna Cut steel, which is a big part of why I collect them, because I'm very into Magna Cut. But this one right here is a 20CV early version. So let me get a focus on that. You can see CPM 20CV, which for many people is maybe even something that you like more. It actually has a higher Rockwall hardness on this one. So you'll see 62, whereas all of their Magna Cut versions are 61. So that's one of the, and you can see the date there. It's a little over a year old. They stopped making these in 20 CV. I'll just throw this over here on the side. So that's part of the, one of the historic, what I'll call historic versions. And then I have now 3 of these, which is the, get the focus here, the flipper version. And they made these in XHP as well as 20 CV. Now I think about it though, I do not have a 20 CV version. So that might be one that I'll have to go seek out. But I do have a numbered version. So on the numbered versions, they're actually numbered here, and then you get a little numbered certificate. Let me see if I have one handy. So there's the numbered certificate of authenticity that comes with it. So let's put this flipper version over here as well. Sorry about the focus there. So that sort of rounds out this collection for me. I'm not really planning on collecting too many more of them, but then again, as they pop up, sometimes I get interested or intrigued, and you know, you sometimes fall back into it, whatever. But no real, nothing really standing out to me out there that made me want to get it. There were a couple here and there that were interesting, but this to me is the group that really appealed to me for the sake of the collection here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these up and move them out of the way, and then let's see if we can take a quick pass on the, let me just make sure I get these into the right places real quick. We'll take a quick pass on trying to get the Bexar tightened up. I'm just curious if that'll cinch back up or if it's something worse than I realized. That might, or that's just how it is or something. I don't know, maybe that's just how it is. So let me grab the tools here. And we'll put that right here. And move some of these knives out of the way. These do have a really nice one-handed close, by the way. It's not like a fidgety one, perhaps, but they do. It's just very easy to close them one-handed. So now we're gonna see if this guy right here can get kind of locked up a little tighter like that one over there. See if it's centered. I don't know how much centering, you know, is a thing in slip joints, but this one looks more centered, but a little maybe off to the non-show side, if you will. And this one's definitely off-centered to the show side. And let's take a pass at this. Looks like it's like maybe a T8 screw. So T8. Let's see if this is like, if it came loose or something. But I think it just maybe the Ultem is just not super strong. I don't know. No, that's better. Okay. I mean, it's definitely still like got some play in it, and I don't know if it's it just kind of feels like it came with a little play. There's like this little backspacer pin you can see through there. That's like inside. I'd be really curious to like take this apart and see what's going on in there exactly. And you can generally see what's going on. What's interesting is they milled it. I don't think they should have milled this out. They probably should have left that slab. I mean, they're obviously going for like super lightweight. So anyways, let me see how strong it feels now. So I now have good lockup. I now have good lockup on it. So that's good. Yeah, it seems like maybe it just came a little loose. Yeah, okay, we're good now. Just compare it real quick. You're definitely getting a more solid knife with this. So if you want something that's a little more solid in hand, I'd go with the titanium. I would not go with the Bexar. It feels, I'm not gonna call it flimsy, but it feels pretty lightweight. And I'm getting like a little poppiness here. Just sort of like in this middle one here. So I'll maybe report that back to Tactile and see if that's a defect or something. It's not like a huge deal, but it's kind of annoying when you grab it, you hear it pop. But cool little knife. I mean, it's amazing how light it is. If you're looking for like the ultimate light in pocket, that is gonna be very hard to beat. Weighing in at 1 ounce. So, but if you want something that feels a little stronger, I'd go with the titanium. It feels really quality. This does just feel a little plasticky to me. So, nice knife, but not like mind-blowing. I do have, conversely, a kind of ridiculous Demco in Ultem that is with tie liners on it. I'll pull it out real quick. It's the only other knife I have with the Ultem on it, and it is super impressive because you get kind of the benefits of the Ultem with the strength of the tie liner underneath it. And this is like one of my favorite knives. It's quite impressive. So it might be one of those materials that just works better combined with other materials, but see if I can get zoomed in on that, or focused on that rather. There you go. Cool knife. Have to think about where it fits in, and also just a really cool knife. That's this one's pretty impressive. It is a little draggy though. I don't know if like they didn't factor for the DLC code or something, and the tolerances are pretty tight on this knife, but I do feel like I feel the DLC dragging a little. I'm sure it would wear in, but it's not quite as smooth as the other ones. So not 100% sure what I'm feeling that's not smooth though, because it's a bearing, it's a knife that's on bearings, so I just need, this one might also just need a touch of adjustment. Nice strong lockup now. Yeah, it kind of just drags a little more than the others. I don't know why. It's almost like hard to tell that it's like black because it's so black. It's like reflective. It's kind of like a mirror finish. Let me see if I can get a quick clean on it. But that is like a pretty impressive TLC coat, if I've ever seen one. So a couple more cool options out there, especially at Black Friday pricing. These were pretty tempting. I still feel like the originals, just there's a reason that they're the originals, I guess. You know, they just did a really nice job on those. It's kind of hard to beat them even with all these cool variants. The variants are neat, but I still find myself gravitating towards their original versions for use. But for a lot of people that, you know, this fits into your style or your kit or whatever it might be, these are some really nice variants for sure, and good for collectors. So that's all for now. Thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and take care. We will see you on the next one.